So we have a problem, and that's my reading, or lack thereof. So, as you can probably tell by the fact that y'all have been abandoned, I am like super busy. I have a full-time job, and I have school, and I have other hobbies, and I'm attempting to read. So, not exactly reading as much as I would like to. I did read 8 books so far, and I want to talk about those 8 books to hopefully kind of inspire me to read more, especially because if I go long periods without reading, I get very sad and creatively just, So I got some books, no spoilers. I don't have all the books. Some of them my mom gave to me to like read, just to borrow, just because I finished reading while visiting my parents' house and just didn't have anything else to read, so I don't have those. Two of them are stored under my bed behind other books in containers. They're like in containers, so oh my god, it's spoiled. I don't really want to get this out, to be honest. Right, I've got my very professional iPad. Look at how cute it is. Yeehaw frog. It's got more flowers. Anyways, not an iPad tour. Maybe one day though. The first book I read, I don't have the cover or the book with me, so Confessions About Colton. I gave it a 5-star rating out of 5. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Anyways, I read it it's by Olivia Harvard, which I didn't say, and I finished it on January 28th, 10 days after my birthday. Basically, it is about, let's see if I can do this without reading synopsis. It is about a guy who's graduating high school, I think, and his best friend Colton was murdered. And he's finding out that there's a lot more about Colton than he actually realizes, and he's getting letters from the serial killer. They think, they don't actually know, but they say it's from a serial killer. So I did enjoy this book. It was fun. It's not like the best written. It was a Wattpad book, but it's definitely not terrible. Apparently I think it's 5 stars, so starting out strong with the mystery. Also, I'm so used to like young adult John Green type romances, and this year I'm really trying to expand beyond that. There's nothing wrong with those books inherently. I just find that although I do like them, they're not like the best genre for me and my reading taste. So only reading those doesn't really make sense, and I also don't want to read the same types of stories over and over again. Next one I also don't have, so we'll just Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. I gave this also 5 stars. So it's okay, girl. I finished that book on February 2nd. Starting off slow. I mean, if you know it, I'm sure you know what Eleanor Park is. But basically, this girl and this guy. I don't know why. I don't know what's a spoiler or what's not, because I read it so long ago. Is Eleanor new? I don't remember. Wow, the synopsis is not even slightly helpful. Whatever. Basically, they go on a bus. I think Eleanor's new. I'm like really confident that Eleanor's new. And it's like kind of like enemies to lovers, but they're not really enemies. They just don't really like each other. But anyways, it's like an unexpected romance. It's fine. It's really racist though, which is why I was really surprised that I rated it 5 stars. Like, I mean, it is cute and the ending did crush me, but girl, do you just not care about the racism? What is that? Racism is okay if it's cute, I guess. Please don't quote me on that. Next book, which I rated at 3 stars, which based on how I remember it makes sense, but based on the other 2 books that I gave a 5 star, makes no fucking sense. This is better than Eleanor Park, and I don't know if I can compare Confessions About Colton. It's too different. But it's What You Gonna Do by Avery Flynn. I went to Barnes & Noble and they had this sale or whatever where you buy a book, get one half off. This is one, I got half off. And I was like, I like witchy stuff, I will enjoy this. It's a romance. The smut is a bit much for me. I'm not like against smut, okay? I'm not a fucking prude. It starts off with that, and I wasn't expecting that. And I feel like it doesn't add to the story as much as I like practical smut. I'm not gonna read for just plain smut. But if you are going to read for plain smut, then this is a good book for you, but I'm a practical gal. I finished reading this on February 10th, so we're kind of splitting up a little bit. I can read this in 2 days if I don't work or anything, so it's still a little slow for me, but I mean, I can read it in 2 days, but I don't enjoy it the most in 2 days. Like, I think a good week or maybe even less than that, or depending on the book, a little bit more than that. It's like a good range. It's a good range. So this girl, she's a witchy girl, okay? And she keeps getting set up on blind dates with her worst nemesis. And then they have to team up together. Horrible, right? Literally his worst nemesis. And then they have to work together and they may or may not fall in love. That's my review, I guess. The man's name is Gil, but this is written from the lady's perspective, so they don't say her name, so I don't know. Oh, that's one thing I didn't like. Especially the beginning, I didn't like the way the writer was like, yeah, this is my life. I'm gonna describe to you what I'm feeling right now. Isn't this horrible? And I was like, girl, I like first perspective books, but that was not it for me. This one ruined my life. I have not eaten beef since this book. I ate chicken like twice after this, and then any meat other than seafood I just couldn't eat. Tender is so much. I don't know how to say the author's name. I don't want to be disrespectful, so I'm just gonna... Is not saying the name also disrespectful though? 5 stars. My official Goodreads review was, girl, what the fuck? It's about a man that lives in this alternate reality where it's not safe to eat animals anymore. And people turn to humans. They literally breed humans for the purpose of consumption. And he works at one of the butcher places. I finished it. It doesn't say. It just says that I finished this 3 months ago, so I don't know. For 3 months. No meat other than seafood. And honestly, probably like the rest of my life maybe. I don't know. What the fuck? I loved the writing. It's translated, by the way. Like, this is like the best written book I read all year. Potentially one of the best written books I've read in my entire life. Not even originally in English. What the fuck? Anyways, the ending. I wasn't expecting the ending to like cut my throat open randomly, but it did. Metaphorically, it did. This next one, The Savior's Champion by Jenna Moresi. This one was a surprising 5-star. And I finished it March 16th. So, you know, we're getting kind of slow here. But it's surprising because I read her first book and I liked it, but it wasn't a 5-star. Jenna Moresi is also like a YouTuber that gives out writing advice. And I feel like YouTube fiction books are really hit or miss. But she's an author, and also this story just sounded so good and so different from anything I've ever read, but it still just like sounded like something I love. And I saw people who like weren't fans of hers recommending this. And anyways, basically Tobias is in this battle to the death for the savior, but he's not actually in love with the savior. He just wants the money for his family because he has a disabled sister. and a mom who doesn't work because she has to take care of her sister, and he's like the breadwinner as a laborer. But then something happens. Read it. And then I finished it while I was at visiting my parents, and I didn't just want to not read anything because I was in a reading mood, but obviously I couldn't read the next book, so I read, I don't have the book, H2O by Virginia Bergen. It's actually, it says The Rain #1, like it's a series. I did not know that. There's 2 books. Oh yeah, because it ends on a cliffhanger. Oh my god, okay, I need to read the second one. I gave it a 4 stars. It was really good, don't get me wrong. I know my rating's very confusing, but it was amazing. It wasn't like #1. It's a young adult dystopian, so like, you know? Okay, so The Rain is fucking toxic. If you touch it even a little bit, you'll die. And Ruby like accidentally survives, and she's with her stepdad, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, her stepdad. She just has to like survive. This is a bad synopsis, but like it is really interesting. It's just I can't tell you the interesting stuff because if I tell you, then when you read it, it won't be as interesting. I just described what a spoiler is, but basically it is really good. Ruby is painfully a teenager, which is unfortunate, but also realistic. So that's why I don't know. I used to like, if I hated the main character, I didn't hate Ruby, but there are some times where I was like, girl, shut the fuck up. Usually in that situation, I would be like 2 stars max. But now that I've really read more and really thought about it, she is a teenager. Like, it'd be weird if she didn't act like this. So yeah, finished that March 22nd. I'm sure no one's surprised by this, but The Savior's Sister by Jenna Morassi was a 5-star, and I need the next book like yesterday. I finished it on May 13th, and I really liked it. This is The Savior's Champion, but in another person's perspective, and it was actually a little hard to read at times just because I was like, I've done this plot point before, but ultimately I did keep reading because there is just so much revealed in this book that I was like, oh my god, I never even thought of that, but it does make sense as to why it played out the way it did. I really liked it. You should read it. You should really read more sci-fi books. And also, other than like this, which is like fantastical-ish, but more beyond romance. I mean, look at the size of this. I haven't read any fantasy this year, and I haven't read fantasy in like a really long time. I barely read fantasy. The closest is like the Harry Potter series and the Simon Snow series, but again, that's more like young adult themes, so I don't know. Recommend me some cool fantasy. Next book, which is technically the last one I finished, is She's Gone by David Bell. I finished the book at my parents' house and I had nothing to read, so I just grabbed something like interesting off my bookshelf. 3 stars. Wasn't bad. I finished reading it May 28th. It's June 3rd when I'm recording this, by the way. Hunter, I remember his name because I just read it, is accused of murdering his girlfriend because after prom, or maybe it was homecoming, they get in a car accident. Hunter has concussions, rushed to the hospital, he survives, but the girlfriend is just gone. So Hunter makes some very questionable decisions during this process to really prove his innocence, but also because of his concussion, he doesn't remember everything, so he's an unreliable narrator. It might have been him, he doesn't know that. He's pretty sure it wasn't. Pretty positive, but obviously he doesn't remember fully, so he can't be like, at least to himself, like 100% wasn't me, you know? It was good. I liked it. And I'm currently reading. This is also another one that I finished my book in my mom's house. I just dropped off the shelf. A Tale for Time Being by Ruth Ozeki, I'm this far in. It is so fucking good. I am like drinking this down. I don't have time to read, but I'm reading. When there's an opportunity, I take it. I will read at least a couple pages at night. It is hard because I take medication, like right before I brush my teeth and get ready and stuff. So by the time I'm reading this, like I'm 2 pages in and I'm already like barely able to open my eyes because I'm so fucking tired from the medication. Which is why, even though I'm reading a lot, I don't have that much there, but I will definitely be finishing this. So I feel like I should make some goals. I do want to do this video again at the end of the year. I won't show these books, obviously. If I do, I'll just casually mention them. But I want more fantasy. I also want to read more that's actually on my shelf. Let's actually look at my bookshelf and see what I want to read. I have these and I want to read at least one of them because I've had these for a long time. And I begged my poor grandmother for this for Christmas years ago and I still haven't read them. They're so fucking beautiful. I'm probably gonna start with Pride and Prejudice just because that's the Jane Austen, you know? But yes, absolutely me. I would also love to eventually read Little Women. Yeah, I need to read that. It sounds so interesting. And around fall, I should really read Dracula. Cause it seems like it's just like the Rhea book. Like it screams, Rhea, why haven't I read it yet? I bought this 2 Halloweens ago. I bought it with Frankenstein. Read Frankenstein right away. And then just abandoned Dracula. How does that make sense? Up here I have more. You like my skirt? I would like to read these Death Note short stories because it seems like something I would love and just drink up. I would also like to start the Marionettes series because I bought these a while ago and I still have yet to read them. I don't know if I'll get to these books this year just based off of how I'm feeling because I am a mood reader typically, but I would like to eventually read Normal People by Sally Rooney and In Memory of Memory by Maria Stepanova. What a name. I've been really wanting to read these for like a long time, but every time I go to them, I'm like, I'm more in the mood of like a thriller, or I'm more in the mood of like a sci-fi or something like that. So I haven't gotten to them, but I would like to. I also really want to go to my local library because I moved here like a year ago almost, and I've never been to the library except for once where they're having like a sale. But obviously I bought those books, I didn't pick them up to borrow, so I want to read it more fantasy. If you have any like fairy fantasy books or elf fairy, woodland elf books, I would like that as well. But anyways, that's what I read. Thank you for watching. Recommend me books, and if you read any of these books because of me, absolutely tell me. That's all.